Welcome back. She's a local chef, but just recently took part in a food festival in Tampa Bay. She was showing off her skills with collard greens at the Collard Green Festival there. We've got Chef LaKisha Harris live in studio with this morning. So grateful to have you here, Chef.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So locally, you're behind Soul Filled Restaurant and Catering. First, tell us all about that in Muskegon, right?
It's in Muskegon. We are the original home of the turkey knuckle. I am the queen of the turkey knuckle, as I always say, which is a delicacy you find in Muskegon, Michigan. But one of our top selling side is our collard greens. And so, you know, I'm a part of the American Culinary Federation, received the invitation to go down to Tampa and host for 4 days their Collards After Dark, the Collard Green Festival. And I was able to take 4 chefs with me from Michigan to the South. So we had 2 James Beard Award winning chefs, the chef Xavier Harmil, who's the king of Jamaican soul, and then Chef Xiomara Mora Rivera, who is a Puerto Rican with African roots and connected to the story.
That you all were able to take Michigan and represent
Absolutely.
down south, known for
Absolutely.
probably the soul food cooking skills, but we have them too.
Absolutely, we migrated north, but we originate from the South, and so we just do it with a different flair.
Well, I love that you kind of know the history of soul food, particularly collard greens as well. Can you talk about that a little bit in the role that it plays in Black culture as we celebrate Black History Month?
Absolutely. So soul food did not even become a cuisine until 1970. Prior to that, through the transatlantic slave trade, we were giving the discarded parts of animals and the things that the plantation owners didn't want, and we made a cuisine out of it.
Wow.
Well, in 1970, the Black Panther movement happens in California, and we say, okay, this is not slop, this is soul food.
Yes.
And I was fortunate enough in 2024 to be the first ever African-American woman to present on soul food at a national culinary convention. And so no one wanted to talk about it, but we have a very approachable cuisine. It's elevating in so many different ways. Vegan soul, elevated soul. You know, we're taking what was once considered something that no one wanted, and we're bringing it to the forefront unapologetically.
Yes, I love that. I love that we have someone here locally able to share that rich history and representing us on a national level. I know we have some video of you taking part in that festival in Tampa Bay. Hopefully we can get that playing here shortly. But tell us more about the history behind collard greens specifically. I loved hearing about an hour ago how you were saying there were even medicinal purposes.
Absolutely.
For this.
And so in our stem is where we find all the medicinal purposes. And people say that when the African Americans cook collard greens, we cook out all of the nutrients. That's not necessarily true, because we use that pot liquor for so much. We use it with our children. We use it for medicinal purposes. You can put it in your ears. You can use it for a cold. You can use it for constipation. And so we learned how to repurpose the vegetable. It grew in abundance. We didn't have much time to cook for our families because, of course, we're working in the plantations, we're working in the houses. And so this is something that the slaves would put on early in the morning. And when they would come from working in the fields, they would then eat the collard greens, and it's made in so many different ways. You see smoked turkey, you see ham hock, you see salt pork. You know, we use turkey knuckles in our collard greens.
That sounds perfect for that. Of course, this is a staple meal that I have every Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So I love hearing the history behind it. Okay, you're gonna help folks who maybe are not so familiar with preparing collard greens. What does this process look like? Because I know for us, Thanksgiving Day, we're taking out the stems, we're having to wash them. It's a process.
It is a process. I don't know why my grandmother started on Thursday to get collard greens on Sunday. I'll never understand that. It doesn't take that long, but you take out this stem.
Yes.
And if you're not going to use this stem right now,
save it for later.
Save it.
Yeah, now I'm knowing it's got some healthy benefits.
Put it in the freezer bags for 6 months. It's good, and you can use it for whatever the purpose. I make what I call a collard green burrito. So after I take out the stem, I roll my greens into a burrito, so to speak. And then I cut them very thin. This helps them to cook faster. It does not take all day. I think our grandmothers took pride and they had the time.
Absolutely.
Modern day society, absolutely not.
You know what? I was just talking about that because, as I said, we have collard greens for Thanksgiving and other times of the year too, but I've actually resorted to cooking kale in the same style because it cooks quicker. But I love getting this tip of, hey, you don't have to start 2 days before.
Nope. If you cut them really small and you julienne them, probably in 2 hours you can have collard greens. And I know somebody's grandmother is freaking out right now.
What?
But I promise you, it does not take all day. And so soul food is influenced by 3 states from the South: Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama.
Okay.
I have a marriage of all of those flavors in my soul food. My grandparents came from Mississippi and Alabama. So you get heat, you get sweet, you get savory, you get that, well, what's that? And so right here I have some red onion, chicken bouillon, and jalapeno. And jalapeno comes from studying abroad and using and seeing that those peppers used more frequently. And
so that's gonna give your collard greens some nice flavor.
It gives it the kick, baby.
Ooh.
And it's not too much. And a lot of people say, well, you're not using a measuring cup. How much do I need to use? For me, everything is a tainch. If it's 2 cups, if it's a teaspoon, it's a tablespoon, it's a tainch, because really soul food is a feeling.
You gotta taste it as you go, see what's working for you.
It's a sensation. You can always add to it, you know.
That's what I love about cooking, because I don't use measuring spoons or cups either.
No, if there's a measuring cup in my kitchen, something is going very, very wrong. You use your intellect, you feel it, you know, you smell it.
And taste along the way. So you kind of have this water going already. Does it need to be boiling, or you just kind of get it a little hot?
So technically you want to get it to boiling, and you want to begin to sweat down your vegetable. And we're kind of, you know, for the sake of television, moving a little fast. And so we put our collard greens in there. But here's something else that I like to do with my collard greens that makes them stand out. I mix cabbage with the collard greens.
That's different.
It gives it a nice texture, and you don't have to add a lot of water, because there's so much water that will come from the head of cabbage that it lends to it. And it gives it texture. So you don't want a crunchy collard, absolutely not. But it gives it a different type of feel, a type of flavor that we have seen people love and enjoy and say, what is that? And it's cabbage that makes the difference.
I like that.
Of course, right here we have some turkey knuckles. Now you can only get these in Muskegon, Michigan.
All right now.
And you gotta get them from Soulfield. They're the best there.
I love that this is a Muskegon specialty.
Absolutely, and I never water that down. I am from Muskegon. If you don't know where Muskegon is, after you taste my turkey knuckles, you'll be coming on a flight to Muskegon.
You'll be back.
Yeah. And so, you know, we see ham hock, we see salt pork, we see but we're gonna do turkey knuckles because we love the ski.
Yes.
And then just adding some water. Right, and the chicken bouillon base and the water gives you that chicken broth. So some people will pour chicken broth. It's the same thing. Yep. Absolutely. A little Lowry seasoning salt, because in every black kitchen there's some Lowry seasoning salt. So we're gonna do some Lowry seasoning salt, and we're gonna do a little bit of sugar. That takes away that bitter taste. Sometimes you have people's collard greens and you have that pungent, bitter taste, and that little bit of sugar, not too much, because you're not making it sweet, helps with that.
All right.
Apple cider vinegar, absolutely. If I could, oh Lord have mercy.
Probably with the gloves on.
Oh, here we are, there we are. So we're just gonna add a tainch. How much is a tainch? I don't know. We're gonna add a tainch of apple cider vinegar, and then I say this is my little packet of magic. Lipton onion soup mix. I don't know what it does. I don't know what
special touch.
It is. There's something in here that came from the heavens that I put in my food, and we just mix that right in there.
Yes, I'm already smelling some really goodness coming from this pot.
And everyone will say, well, you know, she didn't use red pepper flake, or she didn't use this, or she didn't use that.
I have seen that. But, you know, everyone's recipe is just slightly different,
Absolutely.
just a little bit off, and they all end up tasting so good.
And so someone will say, well, do you cover it? Do you do it uncovered?
Yes.
You do it your way. You know, I cook my collard greens uncovered. I don't manipulate them. I don't go back.
You just let them cook.
I just let them do what they do.
Wow. I am so honored to get this tutorial from you. Some really great tips, and I love the history. Chef LaKisha Harris, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure. We're back right after this.